Welcome, guys, to tonight's Thursday night trading night session. Appreciate all the people that made time in their busy day, in their busy life to make a call like tonight's. Appreciate you guys for being on. I understand that you guys can be anywhere in the world as well, and I understand that you guys could be doing anything with whoever. And I appreciate you guys for making the time to come here to learn about charting and just to learn about the markets this week. Every call we have on Thursdays with the purpose to help further your education in forex trading, cryptocurrency trading, whatever it is that you may be trading that involves candles. We would love to assist you in that journey. This is, again, completely optional for the people that are on our team to be on these calls. I love when you guys hop on these calls because you guys are able to learn more on how it is that we mark up, how fast the market actually moves, or you may just be wanting to, find a couple of pairs that you want to trade, or, just find that community that you want to ask questions to, or you may just, want to just be on a call just to feel more confident about your trade setups. Whatever the case may be, this is why these Thursday calls are so important. And this is why also the combination of having your one-on-one sessions with your coach, if you don't have a coach, I would love to be your coach. If you're watching this for the first time, my name is Isaiah. I usually don't intro myself too much just because it's really not about me as much as it is about you. So I want every single person to really understand this and grasp this concept for themselves. So I appreciate you guys for making the time to be on this call. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to the whiteboard. That way you guys can see what we are going to be talking about tonight. So again, welcome to tonight's Thursday night trade night. Thank you for joining us. The pairs that we will be going over today are on the whiteboard: USD BTC, so the US dollar versus Bitcoin, the US dollar versus Japanese yen, and the US dollar versus the Canadian loonie, and the euro dollar versus the Canadian loonie. EUROCAD's a pair that did me pretty well. I love the way it moved last night, so I am looking for a short position on that one just because I bought it last night. So I'm looking for a short position on that pair. Not exactly sure. We'll take a look at how far I predict it's going to travel. Again, these pairs do what they want to do, but it's good to have both options, the way down and the way up. And it's good to have those predictions of how many points it might go down. That way you're not stuck in the middle of a trade. So look at trades for market biofeedback this week. A little bit more on that. What is market biofeedback? Market biofeedback is simply your analysis after you made your first trade, or your second trade, or your third trade. It's just basically the way the market responds to your trade when you enter the market. You will learn a lot more from that than you will from anything else in anybody's education, including myself. So let's start paying a little bit more attention on when we plug in our trade. Does it go negative right away? Does it hang in there? What does it do exactly? So start taking note of that, because it's going to help you with everything in your trading. So setting your environment. This one's going to be key for me, and I will go over it, obviously more and more in depth if you guys need me to. But for now, setting your environment, meaning like, do you have music in the background, like soft music that's going to help you trade? Do you have your TV on mute so that you don't hear anything but see the images if that's something that you trade with? Do you mute your phone, or do you get involved with your phone as you're trading? Because all these variables play a big factor in you becoming a successful trader. Because a lot of the times what people don't know is that the market is responding to you, really, because you're the one in the markets, you know what I mean? So if you're having to answer a phone call, or if you're having to attend to something and you're not set up in your space, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually take in what the market is trying to give you, because the market is moving so fast. So if you're, not in a place to receive the information, if you're not in a place to actually take note of what is happening, don't even place your trade. Because then you're going to get bad habits. You're going to just start getting the habit of placing a trade and being hopeful. What we don't want to step into is the hopefulness of trading. Because when we start stepping into that environment, we start losing more trades, because we're like, oh no, it's going to go up. No, but what are your guidelines? What's your risk to reward ratio? Are you risking 60 cents to make $4, or are you risking well, I let it get to $3 or $4 Well, that means you got to let it swing for at least a week or two. If you're letting it swing that much, you can't just close it out the next day because you're negative $2. No, if you're going to be closing out these trades as they go with shorter losses, then you can go into more trades. But if you're going to be like leaving it in for $2 or $3, you don't want to do that with an 11-cent trade, because that's going to be like $30 or $40 that you're like kind of just like, oh my God, what's happening right now? And I promise you guys that I know trades look scary, but I promise you I've done enough trading that if you followed your market right, it will wave back up to cut the profits in half, or the losses in half, I should say. So if you're losing $20, your trade will always come back to negative $10 to give you an opportunity to close it at less of a loss than more of a loss, if that makes sense. So take note of that when you guys go into your market. Do this on the demo. Obviously, I would hate for you guys to play with your real money. If you guys don't have to, figure out that point. But that's what I would do this week for the newer traders. I would definitely start plugging in trades and waiting to see what they do. Just leave them in your phone. Watch the market behavior, which is a market biofeedback. You're gonna learn a lot from that, because if you hold on to the trades a little bit in there, you'll start seeing the behavior of the market. Is it responding to all the news articles that we will go over today? Sometimes there's no news articles to start your week, so you have to like go based off your technical analysis, which is going to lead me into my topic. So look at your trades for feedback. We went over that. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them off on the chat box. I would love to answer them towards the end of the video, or progressively, however that works. So how did you feel prior to entering the market? That's going to be important. Were you at peace? Were you in a good environment? Were you feeling good? Were you looking at an article throughout that day? Did you look at multiple setups? Did you look at the patterns that may play out, the patterns that may not play out? Did you look at all these things prior to entering the market? Because chances are, the more you look at your chart, the more you'll start to find where the support is, where the rejections are going to happen, and what's happening. Like for instance, if you guys can see my screen right now, the box that I have in clear right in that middle area, so the box that I have clear right there that I circled, that was yesterday's trading session with a little bit of today's. So 4 to 8 hours, so 8 hours of today's session, which it really hasn't done nothing to the downside on the higher time frame, which is why I look for this to have a short retracement. And this is EUROCAD, one of the pairs that we were going to go over. What I look for this pair to do is possibly climb right into this area, right in here, and then potentially trying to come back and break that wedge that we have, because that's a daily wedge that I have right there, that's above all the horizontal lines, all the horizontal rays. I would look maybe for some support right in this area right here, just because it already traveled from up there. I watched it do this yesterday. Again, don't be so exact on the numbers. Be more precise on the area that it might attack and support to keep going upward. Because this is what I see the behavior of this pair doing. I don't see this doing maybe this week. I don't see it doing this week, but I see it doing maybe this to start the week. It was pretty strong yesterday when I traded it, and it still looks pretty strong to the upside. It looks like it's lost its entire momentum to the kind of to the downside. But for right now, it looks pretty small. Looks like it wants to redirect, go back up. Today I traded this pair, and then what I want to show you guys is just break down the time frame. So if I'm looking for it to go up, the pair to go up, what I wanted to do is go down first. That way I have enough volume for it to swing back upward. So this pair right here, I had it marked in that area, as you guys can see there. So for me, it's not respecting that area right now. So what I want to do is probably sell it for today. This is where I got the whole selling short for today. Because what I see it doing is now that you guys can see that I dropped the time frame down to the 5-minute, you guys can probably see the markup better. This is very, very important for you guys to do. because it's going to look different once you guys do it on the 5-minute. Like right here, it looks huge and look pretty small on the 4-hour. So this is something that I might do. So what I'm saying, guys, is I would look for the buy somewhere in this area. That would be smart. Obviously, if it doesn't make it all the way in that area, start looking for your buys somewhere in these areas. Why? Because it's smart enough for you to let the volume come all the way down before you take it up. Because trades usually start doing something like that, then they start wicking, then they start supporting, and then they start going back up. That's usually what I've seen trades do. Okay? Now, it might not do this perfectly, but just know that it's going to do something like that. It's going to creep into to that lower area, somewhere maybe even to right here, just so you guys can see a better example on how I trap my trades. I know this all sounds like gibberish if you don't actually do it. So for the people that are actually doing it, I appreciate you guys. And for the people on the outside, I suggest you guys get the education so you guys don't find yourselves lost. So those circles that I had circled right there, underneath is going to be 1.55600, which is where I would look for my buys in this pair in particular, because right now it's at 155,893. So what I see it doing is maybe dropping 40 points to get a little bit more volume to go up. It's still early in the session. It's still 11:29 Mountain Standard Time, which is 1:29 Eastern Standard Time. So that's something that, you know, we want to look at more towards 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, anywhere from 3 to 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then obviously for me, it'd be like somewhere around 2 to 3 Mountain Standard Time. That's when I can start seeing these moves start to play out a little bit more. And then I personally take my setup from 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time till about 11 a.m. That's just around the time that I'm in the markets, and that's going to be very important for you guys to, you know, keep in mind, because there are times where the market is a little slower and it's not doing what we want it to do. So we want to like make sure we trade adequately and we trade around those time zones. So we don't want to be trading AUD USD during London, Tokyo, because it's probably not going to move as much as it would during a Sydney US session. So I appreciate you guys for being up to speed up until this point. For the people hopping on later onto the call, go ahead and watch this from the replay, because this is how it works. Okay, so it'll be on YouTube. That way you guys can watch the entire call. So if you guys are on these calls and you guys catch half of it, make sure you guys go to the replay so that you guys catch the first half. If you have any questions, drop them off on the chat box. This is what I'm looking for EUROCAD. Okay, I'm looking for it to go down tonight. That way it can go up maybe possibly Sunday or Monday of next week. One thing I would love to do every single time before I get into my trade, I like to see if there's any folders for next week playing out. So for today, it looks like everything's pretty clean. So the moves that are going to happen are going to happen. There's still going to be some folders creating volatility, but for the most part, it's going to be, looks like next week. Yeah, looks like next week is going to be Saturday. Let's see, Friday. So Saturday, looks like next week, you got core retail sales on Wednesday from 6:30 a.m. So that's around the time, my time, 6:30 a.m. That's why a lot of those moves happen around those times, because that's around the times they drop those folders. So anything with the U.S. currency, so anything like USDJPY, USDCAD, anything with the U.S. dollar is probably gonna make a nice little move here at 6:30 on Wednesday, just because it's core retail sales. Those are individual numbers that they can base the volume of the economy on those numbers a little bit more than, you know, something like a foreign securities purchase that Canada has. That's like a yellow folder. It's not as high of an impact folder. So let's look at the high impact folders for our trade setups, even if we're only trading once a week or twice a week. That way you can start having more confidence in the market, to where once you start seeing those patterns and those candlestick formations start to play out, you can start feeling a little bit more confident to trade even if there's not a red article. I want you guys to trade articles right now, because that's the best possible chance for you guys to make more money, because that's when the actual moves are happening, because there's red folders that are indicating that the economy is doing adjustments to the economy. So that's going to make the economy always shift or always break in a certain direction. Like if the numbers are negative for the core sales, you can look for the trading numbers to come down. If you see a strong report, you can see for the numbers to go up. That's what makes the trades go up and down, guys. So stick to the Forex Factory education. Even if you trade crypto, you can also find a section that helps you with that information as well, because you want to be as informed as possible going into your trades. You don't want to be underinformed. You want to be as prepared as possible so that you're ready to take your trades. And then when you have any questions, ask them. Chat us in the group. Make sure you chat us in the group, because if you guys are losing trades, I want to know why you guys are losing trades. Send me your setups, because then I can see what it is that you guys are marking up, how it is that you guys are marking up. And I hope you guys are sticking to the higher time frames to mark up, because a lot of the losses are coming because you guys are, or us, you know, I don't do this as often anymore. This is why I don't include myself as much in this conversation. But we look at the time frames on the 5 minute, we mark it up on the 5 minute. I usually mark up everything on the day to the 4 hour to maybe the hour to give the best possible accuracy to the trade, right? Because if I have a smaller time frame, chances are that the higher time frame is going to overrule the trade. So if we go back to EUROCAD, so EUROCAD doesn't have a folder next week. It's kind of sharing that. That way you guys can understand that part. Let me see. So I'm going to go to the 4 hour here. That way you guys can see this, why I do this. Because this was all marked up on the 4 hour prior to me doing this. And it was marked up previously from like the last time that I was trading this pair, like in March and in June. So I suggest that you guys always follow up with your markups and always keep your markups. That way you guys are able to see the trades better and see kind of what it wants to do. See how the 5 minute kind of messes it up? That's why I don't keep any of the 5 minute markups, because it messes up my chart. And that's usually why you lose trades too, because you're like, you have all these markups. And you want to just have the 4 hour time frame and the daily time frame marked out. That's where you see the wedges. That's why I haven't moved the wedges. That's why I just left them there, because I know that on the edge of those is going to come the rejection or the crossover to the other side. So if you see the US's economy, so for instance, if the DXY starts low or EUROCAD, I expect this pair to go up. That's how I'm going to play this pair. So that's how you would trade something like EUROCAD. You would look at the DXY. So if the numbers on the DXY are going down, then you could look at for a potential buy. But if the numbers on the DXY are going upward, then that trade is coming downward. Does that make sense? So that's how the volume for that pair is going to go, because that's the opposite of the dollar index. That would be something like the UK index. So I want you guys to write this stuff down, because you guys can also watch why why it did what it did, why it went up, why EUROCAD went up. The reason it went up yesterday for us is because it has a pretty strong volume over the course of the last 2 days. So this is similar to this, just it's on a more spread out, like it's like more spread out to this chart, because this is the actual currency. The other chart is the volume of the currency. So this is the actual currency moving against Canada's currency. So if Canada's currency weakens, which is has a lot to do with the US dollar, then this pair is going to rise, which is why I'm saying this is a short-term retracement into that maybe 1.55850 area. And right now is at 87. So we'll see how it behaves at 800. If it doesn't come underneath 800, I'm not going to wait for it to come down to 600, because it's probably going to like stay anywhere from 800 and shoot right back up. So that's something that I can look for my trade to do. I can look for my trade to shoot back up once it comes underneath that 800 area. If it starts coming underneath that 800 area, then I'll start seeing the behavior of the trade then. Because if I see a nice clean rejection candle that you guys, should be studying on Everything FX, that's where a lot of my education comes from, and obviously other stuff that I share with you guys. But if you guys see those candles forming stronger to the downside after 800, then look for the pair to sell for a good maybe 20, 30, 40, maybe even 60 points sometimes. So that's where you can plan on your move coming from 800 to maybe 400, meaning 1.5 800 to 1.55 400. So that's about 40 points right there. Okay, and I'm talking to you guys in speech so you guys can take it and write note of this, because like the more you illustrate it on the chart, the more confusing it gets. That's another reason why I share that way. Because on the charts, the only thing you should be sharing is indicators if you have them, or the tools that it gives you to mark up your trade, to really trap it to do what it wants to do. Because at the end of the day, the trade's going to want to do what it wants to do, and you're going to want it to do something for you. But that's where you have to find your happy medium. That's where you have to say, okay, I'm going to lose 60 cents. I literally stuck to this, and this is why I won a lot of my trades. Some may be bigger wins, some may be less wins. At the end of the day, it's all blue on my screen. And the reason being, it's because I trade this way. I wait for my setups to do what I want them to do. Now, I want you guys to take this tonight. Look for what you want in the markets and start following that principle. So whether it's in and out, follow that. Whether it's swing trading, follow that. Stick to your gut. So if you're learning how to swing trade, leave your trades in. Don't close them because they're negative $10. Leave your trades in. Learn from the market biofeedback like we went over right now. Okay, don't be scared of the markets. I promise that if you leverage 1 cent, if you lose 300 points, it's only $3, guys. It's only $3. It's only $3. Okay, I promise that. That's if you were to landslide 300 points. Or I should say 30 points. Now 300 points would be $30. So that's still not that bad on 1 cent. Like what trade, like you gotta really suck to lose $300. Or I should say 300 points, $30. You gotta be really dumb to like not see that like it's not going your way. Don't be that person, okay? Because that's where ego kicks in. Like, no, it's gonna go up. I know it's gonna go up. I know I'm right about this. This is not about being right. This is about profiting. If you're profiting 50 cents a trade, if you're profiting $1 a trade, if you're profiting a couple dollars on each trade setup, that's better than not profiting, because at the end of the day, you can give your percentages out to the people that you already promised those percentages to. I say that because there's a lot more to this movement than what a lot of people give us credit for, or care to give us credit for, or even care to look into. I appreciate all the people that have invested into this, and I appreciate all the people that see Forex as a way to better their finances, their life, and just everything in their life, because it's truly one of those things to where, guys, if I didn't have Forex, I would not know what to do right now with everything that's happening. Instead, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to focus on EUROCAD, doing what I wanted to do. I'm going to focus on going back to the pairs that we were going to trade for tonight. USDJPY is going to be another pair, like I had mentioned to you guys before we start running out of time. And that's the only thing we have in life, guys, is time. So let's work around the time that we have now so we can have more of that later. So right now, JPY for me is respecting what I wanted to do. I want to take this for a long position. With everything that Warren Buffett is doing in Japan, I see this continuing to be strong to the upside. I still have yet to see it come down to the red circle, and that's where I would have bought it again. So right now, I'm probably going to take the trade early in the morning to see how it behaves so that I could take it on Sunday. I'm probably going to take this, like I said, for a long position because it looks pretty good for a long position. It looks like it built its volume for the week, right in here, right in this area. It looks like it built its volume to continue going upward. That's how I get that analysis right there. And it come down when it tried to, and it tried to come down quite a bit right in this area right here. So that's where I would have saw my sell off. Now I'm just waiting in position for it to either jump up to this area right in here, because that's a 300 psychological area to go up, or to reject from that area, because you guys see a candle with it's like an even candle, so it's like a doji candle. It's not an indecision doji, which is why I wouldn't trade it for a sell. I would look more for the long position because it doesn't look like an indecision doji. It doesn't look like a smaller doji. It looks more like a doji that's trying to level that price in that area. And as you guys can see there, it's hanging into that box. So until I see the clean rejection underneath the box, I wouldn't take this for a sell. But I would have it measured, right? Because let's say in the case that I take it for a buy and I mess up, because we all mess up, guys. then I would sell it off for the next 80 points, because then I know where it's going. Like I truly know where it's going after that point. That's what I'm saying, guys. If you guys enter the market, you guys lose, like right away know that what it could have done. Because if you lost $2 on 1 cent, chances are you can regain that if it's still selling. You can make more than $2, and you'll be like, oh my God, so this is easy to do. Just don't be afraid of the next trades. The trades that you should not be afraid of are the ones that you trade after you lose. Okay, those are the trades that are going to make you the money, and those are the trades that are going to make you the great trader that you envisioned yourself being. Okay, so USDJPY, I'm looking at the long position. It's at 106.166 right now. I would wait for it to go to 106.300, ideally, to respect that area. Once it respects that area, then I'll wait for the position to continue buying it, so that it can maybe go up to 106.900, which is what I predicted for either this week or next week. And if it doesn't do that, then I see it coming back down to 105.300. That's where I see it coming back down to for USDJPY. I'm going to go ahead and answer somebody's question in the chat box. We got about 8 minutes left. And then you guys can find me on the groups. Obviously, I'm always on the groups. That one's a tricky question, bro, because this one's a Pacific pair. So like JPY, it works like AUD, but not. So it's kind of confusing, like to compare those two pairs. I want to say that one plays more like maybe. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Euro USD does play like that. I was thinking about UCAD. I'm sorry, so I'm looking at UCAD right now. But yeah, definitely, it plays like Euro USD. It just plays a little longer when you look at Euro USD. It plays a little different. Euro USD right now is giving us better patterns for the buy. They're closer to the vaccine, so this is why I feel like Euro USD is going to be a little bit more on the upside than on the downside. Even though they had said it's going to come down, I don't like see it coming down too much. I see it retracing, and I see what they mean by when it comes down. So when you guys take these sells, make sure that you guys aren't in the market as much as you guys need to, because you guys don't need to be in the market as much as you guys think you guys do. Okay, like observe the market more. Like right now, I see this like trying to stab at the bottom right here, but I don't see it. Like I don't see it too strong, because I see it lifted from this area that I have circled in blue. Like it lifted upward. You have to see that invisible, area, which I try to do the best of my abilities to do with the boxes. So like, for instance, this is the invisible area that I'm talking about. There's an invisible box right there. See, there's a clear box right there that I have that indicates that it's pushing upward. So if you see that and you look at your MACDs, you wait for it to like clear from the sell, or you take the sell. You can take the sell. Because the sell, it might sell off into that, like I said, that blue circle, because it might be this part right here, look. And sometimes you'll just have to move your circle. So AUD and Euro USD move similar, not exactly the same. One moves faster than the other. So if you look at JPY, that one's probably going to make the moves before Euro USD. Euro USD still kind of looks in between. It looks like it wants to give you like a double top. It's not exactly sure. Like this one's kind of like in between. And I wouldn't want to go into Euro USD unless it fully clears the 1.19900 area, which it still hasn't. So I wouldn't take this for a long position until then. I wouldn't take this for a sell position until it crosses underneath 1.1600, because those are areas that is respected earlier this year, and these are lows for this trade. And the way it's been running the last, I want to say the last 3 months. So yeah, this trade's been running since we called it from 71 out in June. So the 30th of June has been going upward. It's gone up like probably like 1,000 points for sure. And right now it's respecting the Gartley that you guys see right there. I know you guys can see, like, I know it's kind of a mess to see that, but that's where I want everybody's observation to get a little bit better. Because right now it's obviously getting into that box range zone. As you guys see me like pull out of all the indicators, which is why it's important to also do some naked Forex reading. So if you haven't already taken a chance So if you haven't already taken the chance to look, if you haven't taken the time to look at the Forex, the Naked Forex book, go ahead and take a look at that on the Telegram group, because that's a book that's definitely going to help you out. I know it's helped myself out a lot, because you don't need the indicators as much as you think you do, or the tools. What we want to do is get in the habit of trading naked as well, like with the candles. See that? Because then now what I see here on the longer time frame, I see the sell, because I see that it broke off this Gartley. The Gartley's right here. So now my sell, guys, would be underneath somewhere right here. That's what I said. Like the sell should be underneath maybe here, or even 1700. If you guys see more action like this, somewhere in here, which is where we had marked the blue area, right? So that's where I would look for the sell to completely complete something like this to 1400. And then possibly from that area, it'll start pulling back upward. But right now, from what I see it definitely selling off, because I see the cap right there. And then I see the EMA, EMAs starting to get weak to come back down. That's what I do see happening here in the next quarter if the dollar does go up. Because this is, again, the euro versus the US dollar. So if the US dollar goes up, euro goes down. That's just the way it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying. USDJPY is a little different, because it's USD versus JPY. Does that make sense? It's like when you're looking at a team, and I'm going to end it with this. It's like when you're looking at a team. Lakers versus Rockets. They're playing out where? The Rockets. This is like literally the stupidest concept I thought about, and I was like, oh my God, this is so simple. I was making this harder on myself. Euro versus US, right? US is home. So you want to look for the US sessions, because US is home. So if US is winning, Euro USD is going to be coming down. Why? Because the US currency is home. So if the US currency is home, because it's the last letters, it's Euro versus USD, right? Rather than USD versus Euro. That's why I would do that, right? So if you look at your pairs, like there's so much money to be made. Euro versus USD means that you're looking at the dollar. If you're looking at a buy, you're looking at the dollar to tank. The dollar's already tanked. It's already been at its lowest low. So that's why I'm sharing with you guys. The euro may go down sooner than later. Why? Because the US currency is on the rebound for a retrace going back upward, which will move pairs like USDCAD, which is another pair that I want to just take a close look at. That way you guys can check it out. This pair, when the DXY goes up, this pair definitely goes up with it. This is a really, really good pair to trade. You just got to be smart about everything that you're doing, obviously, like every pair. Obviously, I'm so happy about this that I can share this with you guys right now before the call ends. It actually respected the target area. Went a little lower, right? And then I set up a target area because I saw it creep up here. And I was like, it's going to retrace, which it did. And I was like, it's going to retrace into this position area, 131, 100, which it did. So now, ideally, what I'm waiting for and what I'm looking for tomorrow, because UCAD's a phenomenal Friday pair. I'm waiting for it to dump in here to go back up, because we're going to start seeing this action again from UCAD, from what it looks like right here in the indicators. And I've been following this pair for quite some time, so I'm excited about the jump back up for this pair, because it went up from literally like 129 last time to about 146. So it went up like 4,000 points, or 300 or 400 points, I should say. So it went up quite a bit. So right now I'm looking for this pair to make its way back up for what it looks, from what it looks like right now. It looks like it's respecting that target area that we have. So that's something that I want to look forward to tomorrow morning. So if you guys are looking for the pairs to trade, again, USDJPY and USDCAD. EUROCAD is maybe a better trade next week. This week, that's what I'm focusing on, guys. And that's all the time that we have for today. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hopping on the call. Hopefully, you guys receive plenty of value from this call. I know that I do this from the entire heart that I have to give back to others. I appreciate you guys for being on these calls and inviting your friends on Sundays and just making the most out of your opportunities. This call will be recorded and on YouTube, guys. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And the notes will be uploaded in the groups as well. God bless you guys. Take care.